Hi everyone. The Sicilian defense, which starts with e4, c5, is the most popular reply for black against the e4 opening. Now, black players, if they play e5 in the beginning, they get a rather symmetric position, and where white has the initiative, where white can do things. But black, when he goes for c5, the Sicilian opening, Sicilian defense, black is having some say in how matters proceed. So after e4, c5, black is basically telling white you can develop your pieces fast, but at the cost of playing d4 and exchanging of a center pawn. So normally the game continues knight f3, black plays pawn d6, now white plays d4, just to increase his speed of development, to develop the bishop, to develop the bishop, knight c3. But you are exchanging of this d4 center pawn. So pawn takes, knight takes. Here, black plays knight f6, knight c3. As you can see, black is going to play pawn forward, bishop e7, knight out, all these normal moves. In this position, there are several continuations for black. So this is like the standard Sicilian position. And from here, black can play pawn a6. This will be the Najdorf variation. Najdorf variation. The point of pawn a6 is you want to play e5. But if you play e5 directly, then bishop b5 check comes. And then after bishop d7, bishop takes knight take, the square becomes weak. Light square bishop is exchanged. And if you play knight d5, it allows knight f5, attacking d6 twice. And that will be difficult for black. That is why the Najdorf player plays a6 first, preparing e5. And then bishop e7, pawn b5, bishop b7, the game goes on. So as you can see, black has some initiative on the queen side and the center. So that's why most players prefer Sicilian to a symmetric e5 opening, because it gives black a chance to decide things on his own instead of waiting for white to continue the game. But you have to understand that Sicilian opening is very complicated, and it can lead to double-edged positions. It will not be the comfortable. It will not lead to a really comfortable position for black. It will be uncomfortable for both usually. So it needs precise play, and the black player has to be ready for it. Now a6 is Najdorf, Sicilian Najdorf. The second variation then that black can go for after these standard moves is g6. This is known as a dragon variation because it looks like a dragon. See, this is, and this bishop also comes here, so that completes the dragon. So the point is, black is just going to play bishop d7 and castle short, and white will sometimes go for bishop e3, queen d2, and castle long here. So after bishop g7, black may play e5 and then d5 and develop his pieces normally after castling. So this is a dragon variation. Dragon is sometimes considered an unsound opening because it allows this, like let me show you an example. After bishop pawn g6, let's say bishop e2, bishop g7, bishop e3 or f3. Let's play f3 first. Castles, bishop e3, let's say knight c6, and queen d2. Let's say pawn a6 to start b5, castle long. Now white starts g4, h4, h5, and sometimes he goes for bishop h6 first. So this can become scary for black, but black also has his ideas: b5, bishop b5, rook c8, queen c7, or so it will be a very complicated game. So that's why many players don't go for the dragon, but some players who like chaos in the position go for the dragon. So as I said, a6 is in the starting position after e4, c5, knight f3, d6. d6 is basically to stop e5 and to get control. d4, white almost always go for this. Pawn takes, knight f6, knight c3. Here, first variation for black is to play the Najdorf, starting with a6 and then e5. The other line is g6, the dragon. So these are the two Sicilian openings that we discussed so far. The third one is the open Sicilian, the classical Sicilian by playing knight c6. Here, white should not take. If white takes, it only helps black. He gets one more pawn to the center, and the bishop can come to b7, and d5 becomes very easy. Queen b6 or queen c7, and then e6, bishop e7. It becomes good for black. So white usually does not take on c6. White just waits with bishop e3 or bishop e2, and black will play e6 or e5, or he goes for b6 and bishop b7, and the game goes on. This is a classical line of the Sicilian. The fourth variation is Scheveningen variation, which is e6. Here, black contents himself with just one pawn push, e6 instead of e5, and he is preparing d5 at some point. So he will develop his pieces and then go for the d5 move. So this is a Scheveningen variation of the Sicilian. He will first play bishop e7 in castle, and then go for queenside play with d5, b6, bishop b7, all the normal moves. So these are the four variations in Sicilian, and the general idea in Sicilian is black takes some initiative, some queenside play, and has a say in the matter on how things develop. Sicilian leads to double-edged positions where accurate play is needed, but for a black player who likes to have some say in how the game proceeds, it's the perfect opening. And people who like complicated openings, even they can find some good lines in Sicilian. So Sicilian has had a very good success rate against white's e4, and that's why it's the most popular defense for black.